In the month of March 2022, Musa launched his newest collection, branded with meaningful words like ownership, ancestors, village. His clothing line, Jufrey, was named after the birthplace of Kunta Kinte. Musa traveled to Sweden as a teenager. He was once homeless, vulnerable, and desperate. But he never stopped dreaming. Today, I sit down with Musa Njie to discuss his journey from being homeless in Sweden, one of the coldest countries in Europe, to becoming business and brand owner. Welcome to Migrant Stories, Tales from the Gambia Diaspora, where we bring you stories on Gambian migrants, stories about their journeys from the Gambia to where they're currently living, about their lives in Europe or in the US, about their hustle, their ventures, etc., etc. Today with me, I have a young, dynamic businessman, Musa Njie from the Gambia. I will let Musa introduce himself, where he's from in the Gambia and where he's currently living.
Yes, Nima, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you. My name is Musa Jai. I am the founder and owner of VVS Transport, V Cement, and Jufrey. I was born and raised in the Gambia at a town called Jarra Soma. I came to Sweden at the age of 16 years, and I'm a plumber by profession, and I live in Sweden, Stockholm.
Thank you very much. You know what I am most excited about? I like to see Gambians doing so well for themselves wherever they are. But when it is closer to home, then it gets me even more excited, knowing that you are from Jarra Soma, which is somewhere very close to where I am from, Kiang Kolyor.
You're from Kolyor, right?
I am from Kolyor. It's very interesting.
You know, Jarra is the capital of Kolyor.
Well, Jarra is the capital of Jarra.
Okay, you know what? I don't even want to agree on that, so we don't even need to start debate on that right now.
Soma is the capital of Jarra, so we give you that.
We used to visit Kolyor when I was a scout. I love Kolyor. It's a nice village.
You were a scout?
Yeah, I was a scout.
Yeah. I remember the scout come. I probably might have seen you. I wouldn't know.
Probably.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I used to visit Kolyor time to time when I was a scout.
That's very nice.
Yes, it is.
It's really nice to catch up on here. I just want to go back to something that drew me to you, which I saw on Facebook through a mutual friend. I wasn't friends with you, but I saw this post and really it got my attention. And I was like, I really want to interview this guy. And the post went like this. It says, "To my fellow youths, I came to Sweden with one pair of clothes.
Yes.
Now I am running my own clothing brand." And it continued, "Don't underestimate yourself into thinking that you need somebody to do it for you. Try it for yourself." How inspiring can this be? Can you tell us something about you coming to Sweden with just a pair of clothes on and now you are running your own clothing brand?
Thank you so much for that. That was really beautiful. It was nice hearing you saying that.
Exactly.
Wow. That was a powerful post. I don't even know about it that way. Sometimes I do some crazy things, but I'm happy you do like it and you find it inspiring that you wanted to reach out.
Yeah.
But I came to Sweden when I was 16 years old, and I came with two clothes, a t-shirt and a shirt, and I was homeless when I came to Sweden. So I was walking around in town, without knowing anybody or having anybody.
Wait, let's go back a little bit. You came to Sweden at 16 years old.
Yes.
Was this with family?
No, I came alone actually.
You came alone at 16,
yes.
And you had no family in Sweden.
Without knowing
and you were homeless.
Yes, and I was homeless too.
In one of the most coldest countries in Europe.
Exactly.
Was this in winter or in the summer?
It was during the winter too. I came during the winter.
How did you do it?
It was really cold. I have never experienced any type of weather like that before in my life. So it was really
because you've
cold.
Never traveled before then.
Yeah, I've never traveled before then. Maybe Senegal was the closest. So, but coming to Sweden in the middle of the winter was really, really, something different for me because I never experienced anything like that. And walking around in the middle of the winter with a shirt and a t-shirt without knowing anybody was really scary for me. And the funny thing is that I was trying to look for someone to to talk to, But Sudanese people are a little bit too shy, when I approach them to talk to them, some of them, then if you want to talk to me, and
They
I
can
couldn't
be
even,
reserved. Yeah.
and I couldn't even speak the language. And the thing is that, I was having a sort and it is in the middle of the winter, so probably they might thinking, who's
You're
this guy?
crazy.
Yeah, who's this guy? Is crazy. So I was homeless for a while, walking around and trying to look for a Gambian, maybe someone I can talk to, someone who would try to take me home, who would
How long
understand
have
where.
you been homeless for, though?
Yeah, roughly 6 months, I would say. But I do visit, sleep at some friends' house time to time, and also sometimes I do feel in other places or do sleep other places too.
Hmm. So
Yes.
tell us about that moment when you were homeless and how you get help from whoever
It
it
was
was.
it was a frustrating moment,
Hmm.
coming to a country that doesn't speak the same language with you, and knowing that is a Swedish country, and I couldn't speak the language to them. There's no someone to reach out to, so
Hmm.
it was really crazy. But until this guy found me, Samba, who later took me to his house, and introduced me to his family. I could remember him telling me, Musa, as you can see, we don't have a place for you to sleep here. But, and I was like, Samba, I can sleep in the toilet. It was like, because I was really,
Hmm.
frustrated, and, all I wanted was, to have somewhere to put my head. And I could remember him telling me, Musa, but you cannot sleep in toilets. People don't sleep in toilets in Sudan. And I was like, yeah, but Samba, I don't mind sleeping, here, because I was really frustrated. But he later told me that, I can take you to a friend of mine, Usman, who lives in Rinkibi. And, Rinkibi is a ghetto, right? And, he said, the only thing I want you to do is just help Usman, clean the houses and, do the dishes. I think that will be fine.
Hmm.
But the first night at Rinkibi was really scary because that's the time when the police, break the door and came inside. And you can imagine I was illegal, without no document. And I start having a lot of these, thoughts, that now they will deport me back to Gambia. I have to start from the beginning, and then knowing my family's background that, they may not afford, to send me to university. So
Yeah.
that was something that was worrying too. So now I start, if they deport me to Gambia now, what would people think about me? So it was really scary moment. I had to run under the bed,
Hmm.
and they took Brother Oz and his friends away. So I had to call Samba and explain to him that I cannot really stay there. He took me back to his place, and
Hmm.
I could remember him telling me, but Musa, as I told you before, you cannot stay here, right? So I don't know what to do with you, but you can stay here for 3 days. Then
Hmm.
we will send you to Spain.
Yeah.
I was like,
But
no.
before we get to the Spain part, you
Yes.
said your first night at Oz's house, the police came. Did
Mm.
the police come after you, or this was a routine thing? Is it something that happened frequently? The police coming to knock on the doors of migrants they deem illegal?
Yeah, but Brother also was there with his friends, but I
Mhm.
don't want to get into that. They were doing their thing,
Okay.
and maybe someone did call the neighbor, and yeah, and it was loud music too, maybe
Okay.
someone called them, the police. So it was
Yeah.
something random, I never,
It was random. Yeah.
it
That's
was
what I
just
wanted
random.
to know. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But you went back to Samba's house again and he agreed to host you for just 3 days and send you to Spain.
Yes,
You can
and
go
that's
ahead
what
from there.
yeah, that's what they agreed on. They said you can stay here for 3 days, and we will send you to Spain.
Mhm.
But the thing is, they later realized that they cannot send me to Spain because I did not have any documents.
You had no document.
Yeah, I was like, thank God, because I was really scared to travel to Spain, alone without
Mhm.
no document at that age.
True.
So Alhamdulillah, but what Samba said was, you can stay here for 3 days. Let me talk to my wife and see, if you can stay here longer than that.
Mhm.
But he advised me something was like, only thing I want you to do is just help us, do the laundries, the cleaning and clean the house, and wash
Mhm.
the clothes.
Mhm.
I was in for that. For me, that was not a big problem because I
Yeah.
know I came here to do something to change my family's life. So I would do whatever it takes just to make that happen. So,
Mhm.
I was like, don't worry about it. If that's the case, I got that done. So, I think I try my level best to impress them, do the laundries, do the cleaning before they come home, everything is on set. I think they were really impressed with that. The only thing that I was not allowed to do was to cook,
To cook.
which I was living good at by then.
Yeah.
So I impressed them cleaning the house and doing the laundries and stuff. So, I think they're starting to realize that, let's give him a chance. So that's the time they said you can stay in the classic, it's not too big. It's a very small room.
Yeah, so you had an upgrade from sleeping in the toilet to sleeping in a closet.
Exactly. And that was a big upgrade for me because that was the first time me having my own room, my own space, because in Gambia I never have my own space. I used to sleep with the brother, so
Yeah.
having my own place was something big. But I later realized, it's not a good place to sleep, a classic, because it was just very small and a small bed,
place. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I was really happy, when they went and buy that bed to me, because I could remember they bought it in the IKEA for 299 crowns. Like, so I was really happy. I'm like, now they're investing on me. So it means that, I have a chance of staying here.
Yeah.
But, I love that little room though, that classic and that's where I wrote most of my dreams, and I tried to write some raps by then. I was, I don't know why, but I was writing some songs, that I never even. So, Alhamdulillah, I did achieve some of my dreams that I wrote there. I could remember one of them was to build a house for my parents, and, buy a car for my parents. That's normal dreams for every youth out there. I try to take my parents to Makkah. Alhamdulillah, some of them have done, but the Makkah part, it's still on the progress.
Still pending.
It's still pending. Just keep supporting Jufrey and VVS and V-Cement. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. And now here we are. I like the storyboard part, division board part. I remember when I was studying too, I used to have something like that. I still have it. I saved it somewhere. I wrote PhD. I drew. I think I printed out a house that I envisioned to be mine in the future, as a stack of money, a family. And I'm hoping that someday I will go back and see what I have accomplished and what is pending. So I'm glad that you did that. Even in that bare moment, you had the courage to dream, to want something better, not just for yourself, but for your family. And this is what is so inspiring about Gambian migrants coming to Europe or in the US with nothing other than their clothes on and having this huge vision for their families, wanting to change their families' lives. And you have reached that place.
Let's talk about your transitioning from being homeless and being taken in and working as a domestic help. I'm sorry if that sounds derogatory, but that's exactly what was happening there.
Yes.
Yeah, to becoming a business person. Can you briefly tell us the transition, how your mindset have shifted to you working on yourself to becoming the person that you are today?
Wow, interesting questions. I don't even know where to start. That was a period in my. It was one of the worst periods in my life. That was 2010. I remember I was sent back home with the Swedish migrant to go and apply for my resident permit in 2010. I came to Gambia with only $2,500 as my first semester in Gambia.
You went back to Gambia with only 2005.
Yeah, the Swedish department had to send me back to Gambia to apply for my Swedish permanent.
Yeah.
So it was really, really, really tough moment for me and my family. I remember one day, my mom coming home from the market crying. And I was like, Mom, why are you crying? Help. She told me someone stopped her at the market and, telling her that they deported your son. And people was crying, And that really, broke my heart, because that was the first time seeing my mom crying. And it was really tough for me, it doesn't happen once, but, almost every time when she come from the market, her mood changed and she's always been sad. I'm like, every time. So, try to hug her and, comfort her, like, yeah, you have, understand this is gonna go over soon, deported my, try to just ease her. So, you know, with that experience definitely motivated me. You know what? I have to do something, you know, to get my family out of this condition, because we're living in renting apartments. My family used to rent in one fabulous house. So, you know, seeing them struggling, and I could remember I used to have meeting with my dad, with my brother almost every time. Musa, please, can you tell us the truth? Did they deport you? Because I was in Gambia for like 1 year, 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, with $2,500. Yeah, and you know the expectation is high when you're from Europe.
You're from you, and you've been there for some years, and you
Exactly.
came back with nothing. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, with that frustration that walking around and people will be pointing fingers at me, I can really hear some of them telling, boy, deport, you know, yeah, deport, you know, that moment really motivated me. It was tough.
What is even more inspiring about your story is transforming your experience of being homeless, of asking to live in a toilet and being offered or having a bargain with your friend to live in their closet and work for them as a domestic. It's not a nice word. To now becoming business owner, right?
But you know one thing, you know, like I was not the smartest guy in school. I can tell you that. But I always have a dream. You know, I always wanted to do something great for myself and people around me. And you know, Alhamdulillah, I always focus on just that. You know, that I maybe, you know, I cannot change the world, but I can change the people around me, and that's what leads me to.
And that's where changing the world began.
Yeah, exactly. That's what leads me to my investments. You know, see, you know, like let me try to change a little part of my environment, or you know, my community, or the people around me. So you know, then we will see what happened in the future, inshallah. But I just, you know, that's what motivates me too.
Yeah. So let's talk about your businesses. I understand you have 2 in the Gambia and 1 in Sweden, right?
Yes.
Let's begin with the ones in the Gambia. How did they come about? Tell us the name of your company in the Gambia to begin with, and how did those investments come about?
Wow, shit, you getting really deep with these questions, Nima. Yes, I have 2 companies in the Gambia. One is called VBS Transport, which is the first digital modern trucking transport in the Gambia. And I have another one called V Cement, which is a cement sales company. But you know, the idea comes from, you know, taking ownership. You know, because I do believe that, you know, we youths need to start taking ownership of the market right now. Because if you see Gympex, right, it's owned by foreigners, you know, and people don't understand that, you know, the people that controls the economy have power over us, right? And power is wealth, right? So for me, I do believe that, you know, the younger ones, the millenniums, you know, and the, you know, iGens, or, you know, generations that, what you call them, definitely need to start taking ownership of, you know, our market, you know, or taking ownership of the, you know, the entrepreneurship. So that what motivated me to. And you know, there's a lot of myths in our culture that, you know, we don't trust your fellow Gambians, you know, bias healthy kidney, bias had that. But you know, it's really crazy myth, because I think we need to break all those myths. Because if we don't trust our brothers and sisters and give them job, who's going to give it to them? You know, if we don't do it, this foreigner would come and exploit
them. Yeah,
exactly. So you know, that's one of the reasons why I believe that, you know what, let me do the little that I can to give, you know, ownership to my fellow youths to start a project or a company. Let them, you know, run it. I do have a lot of negative things from people that they said, why can you don't start a business if you are not in Gambia? Which can be true, but at the same time, then we need to think outside the box. If we did not support and trust our youth, who is going to trust them? So we have to break that myth that, you know, don't trust these Gambian people, or don't trust your fellow, you know, Gambians or Africans. Let's just break the myth. Let's work on one word, which is unite. Let's unite, right? Because there's one thing that bothers me too much, Nima, is that, you know, we Africans, we have a problem of uniting. I'm sorry if I put it out there, but there's some fact.
It's the truth, though. Yeah,
it's the truth. You know, like we have 2 options here. We either all win or we either all lose, right?
Yeah.
So if we work together, we all win together. If we do not work together, we all lose together. So for me, that's what I believe, that we Africans and Gambians, especially the younger ones, need to start come together and build something, successful, for our future generations. Because before expecting foreigners will do it for us, or before partnering with foreigners, we can partner within ourselves and build something. Because as I told you earlier, power is wealth, and we have to start building wealth for our generation. And not only wealth, but generation wealth, And I believe that if we do that, we will have a great future, inshallah.
Yeah.
And those are the things that really motivated me to start
to start a business, even though you were not there. I was going to say, yeah, for most people who have left the country to move abroad, there's always a reason. In the migration parlance, they call it the push factor, something that really pushes you to go out for the greener pastures. Yes. And usually it is unemployment. You graduate from high school, you don't have any means to go to university. There is no avenue, or there is not enough avenue that can employ you to make a good living for yourself and for your family. And that's probably the reason why you left at 16. But now here you are in Sweden, and creating ventures in the Gambia where you are providing opportunity to other youth who may not have the same opportunity as you did to move outside of the country. How many of these young people are currently employed in your businesses?
Right now we have only 6, but because one of my trucks is having a problem, because I have modern trucks, so we do face some problems when it comes to those modern trucks, because certain parts are definitely difficult to have in the Gambia. Yeah. So right now we're 6, but when the other truck is back to business again, we will be 8. And 8 is not enough for me. My goal is to have as much as I can support. That's why I even built a platform called Youth Job Connection, VVS. And that platform I built for the reason of that, certain youths can have the opportunity to post their, applications, or they can post about, looking for someone to employ.
And be found,
Yeah, and be found. Alhamdulillah, I do have some messages from other people that thank you for this platform. I did get a job from here. And I was partnering with GAM Job. I could remember, they do publish some of their, applications through that page. So, but my goal is to give as much job as I can in the future. And I'm working on other projects too to see to make that happen.
Yeah. So you might think that 6 or even 8 is a small number, but it's not. Even if it is just one individual you take off the streets and give opportunity to, that is good enough. Like, this is something that we would expect from people in the diaspora who can, not everybody can do it, but who can create businesses back home to help the government to employ other youth. That will be a very good venture to look at.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, for me, sorry for calling you, I definitely believe that, we need to work harder on that side, because we cannot expect the government to fix everything, right? I don't want to get into politics, but what I'm saying here is that I think we need to start, take responsibility, individual responsibility, just
for our country.
You can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. So, and most of the times I think that, we are missing that side of the story, that we expect, the government to fix everything. Although there's a lot of things they need to fix, but, I think we need to also take ownership and see what we can do for our, future generation. That's what matters to me.
Yeah. But to give credit to you guys in the diaspora, you are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. You too.
Every single one of you is doing a wonderful job for themselves and for their families back home. And we hope that is going to continue. So coming back to your businesses, you said you have a trucking business and you also have a cement business. What do the trucks transport in the Gambia?
PPS transport, we do offer, how to call it, sand, basalt, stone, and gravel.
Yeah, so mostly in construction.
Yeah, mostly in construction, and we do offer logistics transportation sometimes too. But with this cement, we do cement sales business. We sell cement to these wholesalers, and they will sell it, for the sector, people.
Yeah. I know your vision for this business is huge, and especially for being the catalyst for youth empowerment in the Gambia is really huge. What is your plan moving forward for these businesses?
Oof. I don't even know where to start, Nima, but there's a lot of plans that I definitely want. For me, I definitely believe that we should start building a lot of factories in the Gambia, like manufacturing factories. And one of my goals is to have a cement manufacturing factory in the Gambia, which is going to be very hard to have, but I know it's not going to come
It's
easy.
not impossible. Yeah.
It's not impossible. So that's one of my goals. But we will see what happens in the future. But I would definitely want to make that happen, inshallah.
Yeah. There's something else that I have really been interested in corporate businesses. I don't know how migrants like yourself or Gambians in the diaspora like yourself who has vision to invest back in the Gambian community have in collaborating with other Gambians who have similar visions to create really something big, right? Like the cement factory you're talking about. If it is not something you can do individually, it may be possible that somebody who is listening to this is like, this is my dream as well, and is wanting to collaborate with you to create that, to make that a reality. Is that something you'll be interested in?
It's something I'm really interested about. But at this current moment, I don't have the finances just to do that. But maybe for the future plan. But it's very important, as you said. I do believe that we, as I told earlier, we Gambians, we need to come together and do something. And most of the time, it's always about me. I can do it for myself. I want to own it. But we can all own it together.
Exactly. You're pitching something, I pitching something, somebody else did the same thing.
And that's how it works. That's how it works in Europe here. Most of these big factories or big companies not owned by one person. It's owned like a lot of people come together and other investors, And I think we need to start looking into that side too in Gambia. That let's these youths come together, and start having this dialogue and see what we can do together for our country. Not, what I want to do or what social status do I want to have. Because most of the time, people would just want to own something because of, the myth of owning it. Like, I'm a CEO, which is cool. But I do believe that we need to, start, how to call it, having a better plan and, set the bar a little bit higher and work together, inshallah.
Yeah, I believe in that as well. I'm aligned with you in that.
Exactly. I think we need to.
We need to. That's right. Okay, so moving away from the Gambia, I think your newest, I want to call it a child, is the online clothing business.
Yes.
Right? What can you tell us about that?
Jufrey.
Jufrey is the name.
Yes, Jufrey is the name. I don't even know where to start with Jufrey too.
Yeah.
But Jufrey is
Let's begin with how the name came about. Why did you choose Jufrey?
All right, that's a good question. The name Jufrey represents the birthplace of Kunta Kinte. It's located in the north bank of the Gambia, of the river Gambia. But the idea comes from there was a period, right? I was feeling really down and defeated by a lot of the negative things that were happening around Black people. So that led me to start reading books about Black history and reading books about our culture, watching YouTube videos about our history, But there was this period when I was watching a YouTube video and they saw this place, Jufrey. And I was really sad, seeing how they abandoned that place, That's really motivated me to see, let me see what I can do with that place, because I know that I cannot change the place, but I can try to keep the name alive. So that's why I took the name to put it in a fashion lifestyle, that would motivate our future generation, or the generation Z, they call it, might be interested about what's Jufrey is about. So we live in this informational age. They can go through the internet and search what Jufrey is about, and that will lead them to know their history. Because I do believe that we need to take ownership of our history too. Because the funny thing was that this video that I'm telling you about, it was narrated by a white guy, which I do believe that, our history can only be narrated by us. It's our history. We know our history better. Then we can focus on the key points that we want people to know about our history, right? So for me, that's what motivated me to see, okay, let me build a clothing line that will represent our culture, our history, and it indicates royalty too. So because I do believe that, we have a rich and a beautiful history that we, don't know about, or we just try not to, talk about, or, because most of the history that they talk about, the Black history, it's slavery. And I do believe that, Black history did not, begin with
It's richer
slavery.
than that. Yeah.
Exactly. So, we are royal people way before slavery. We are kings and queens. Our ancestors were great and smart, like Mansa Musa, was one of the richest man alive. And, and our school books are not focusing on that. They're focusing on slavery. So what I wanted to do with Jufrey is let me just, build a clothing line that I will, give confidence to my fellow Africans. Once you wear the clothes, you will know that you're wearing pride, right? And it indicates your history. Because let me put it to you, we're wearing a lot of this brand that we cannot relate to, right? Prada, Louis Vuitton, And I could remember there was a video that I was watching when they said, Tommy Hilfiger said, if he knew that Black people would wear his brand, he would not build it, right? And still we are empowering these people, giving them millions, of dollars, whatever you call it, to enrich them. And while we have a rich history that we don't, use, because I do even jump into the history side. I do believe that, even at the airport, they should have a monument of Kunta Kinte, right? And it, we can say once you arrive, you have a big board that says, "Welcome to the land of Kunta Kinte."
Yeah.
Exactly. But I don't know what's happened to our government. I don't want to get into politics, but we still haven't marketed our history the right way, because we have one of the richest history. Kunta Kinte history, And if you see how these people explore our history, it's really sad. Look at the Kunta Kinte movie. It was not shot in the Gambia. The actors were not from Gambia. And even the Mandinka that they're speaking is not the authentic Mandinka that we know. So that's telling you that we are still not taking ownership of our history too. And that's why I jumped.
Regardless, I don't want to cut you short, but regardless, that has brought focus on the birthplace of Kunta Kinte, which was the smallest country on mainland Africa. And it is something to take advantage of, like you said. And we failed to take advantage of it. Hopefully your brand would shed more light on that branding of Kunta Kinte being from the Gambia, and I don't know, marketing that for economic purposes, even for tourism purposes. Yeah,
that's right too. And that's what I wanted to do in the future. As I told people, that my goal is that, to take some of my company interests to give back to Jufrey. I personally believe that by now Jufrey should be one of the most beautiful places in the Gambia. If you definitely know the value of Jufrey, it's our history. We can build wealth with it. But I just still don't understand what's happened to us or our people in the tourist industry side. But I'm not here to blame them. I'm taking individual responsibility to see what I can do to keep the name and represent the name right. So and I expect every part African and every part Gambian to go and wear the brand, not only to support it, but just to show people out there that you're a proud African, you're a proud Gambian, because it's something very easy to explain. I'm wearing one right now, Jufrey. Wherever you go with it, you can. People might ask what Jufrey is about, and it's very simple to explain. And that way, people might respect you for that. Oh, you're definitely part of where you're from. But if you're using these other brands like, Gucci, as I say, other brands, which we're only using for, social status, because they brand it that way, that if you wear it, you will feel rich, you will feel that, you are on top. That's how they brand it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's gives
but
you.
I can tell you about your clothing line, though. Being named after Jufrey, the birthplace of Kunta Kinte. I don't know if it is something that you thought about, because there is value in what you wear. People identify with their clothing. Like you said, if you wear certain brands, people look at you as rich and bougie and important and all of that.
Exactly.
For your brand, the name of your brand, the way I associate it, especially with Kunta Kinte, is one, is originality.
That's right.
It's truth.
That's
It's
right.
resilience. It's
Thank
hard work. It's authenticity.
I can't say it better, man. That was wonderful.
And when I look at your clothing brand, because I've been online and I've seen some of them. When I look at it and I look at some of the names that you've given to your hoodies, for example, it makes me believe that if not for somebody like me who is from Africa, but someone who is an African descent and does not have the opportunity to visit Africa, this is something that gives them that connection. Like they feel connected to the continent through this brand, because it tells them a story, it tells them a culture, it talks to them about a culture that they have not experienced, but something that they can relate to and be connected to. So that's something that I really found interesting about your clothing brand, and I wanted to put that out there. I don't know if you were thinking in the same line when you were creating.
I'm really happy you say that, because that's what I've been saying to my friends. I'm like, I don't sell T-shirts. I sell history.
I sell stories and history.
Stories and history. That's what I sell. Because as I was saying earlier, Gucci and Prada, they brand their brand that for you to feel that you're rich, right? I am trying to brand Jufrey, and I want people to understand, every person who ever wear Jufrey, that you are representing your history. It indicates royalty. I want you to feel part of yourself. As that when you wear Gucci, you feel you're Gucci and richer. I want you to wear Jufrey and feel that you have a rich history. You're part of yourself. You're part of your skin. You're part of who you are. Because if you don't know who we are, we will not know where we're going, right? So it's very important for us to know our history and be very proud of it. Because I'm going to go offline here for a bit, but I could remember when I was a child in Gambia. This is very sad, but I just have to say it. Seeing how we run after these white people, like tubab, how we glorify them, we definitely, it's really sad to even still see it's really happening. But I definitely believe that we need to change that mindset, that, we need to start believing in ourselves. We don't need to run after them. We don't need to glorify them. We need to start appreciating ourselves, adding value on ourselves, like respecting ourselves, appreciating ourselves. Because if we don't do it, it will be very hard for them to respect us, right? Or even to, to put value on us. So I do believe that, we need to change a lot of the myths within that environment. Like example, if you go home with a white, lady, it will be treated different than if you go home with a black lady. They will be like, oh, because one, let her not cook. How we glorify. So for me, it really breaks my heart to see that that's how we treat these people. Because we definitely, I don't even know how to put it this way. I have nothing against them, but the fact that we need to start appreciating ourselves.
It's about respecting the self.
That's right, respecting self. And I think it's very important that, we start, wearing brands that we can relate to, like, doing stuff that, we can relate to, knowing our history and knowing where we're from, be proud of our skin, be proud of ourselves, because for me, as I was telling my friends recently, just to say Black Lives Matter, it's good to say, but it doesn't matter too much to me. What matters is the action that you take. You can do a Facebook post of Black Lives Matter with 1,000 likes, good for you, I'm happy for you. But what really matters to me is the action that you take. Are you supporting Black-owned business? Are you supporting your African brother? Are you, saying good things about your African brothers? Did you stand for where you're from and your history? That's what matters for me, the action, not the simple post, or do Black background, whatever people do. You can keep doing
that. It's easy to join the bandwagon. It takes a whole lot more to prove what you're saying with the actions that you take.
Thank you so much. And that's what I believe action matters most when it comes to, our history and, our stories too. We need to start taking action so that people will start believing in us.
That's very true. This is going great, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So I understand that your clothing brand is new. It has just begun, and you have started with just few items, the t-shirt and the hoodie, with some labelings that I have seen, the Fulani hoodie, for example. That was something that really catch my attention.
Thank you. I hope you like it, though.
I love it.
Thank you, man.
I love the name. I love the name associated with it because it represents a culture.
That's right.
I like that the design is imitating that Fulani hat that we grew up seeing. So that's why I feel like it's going to create a connection for people who really want to relate, who want to connect to the continent, but may not have the chance to do so.
It's very important because for me, I think we need to start, getting beyond borders with our history, right? It's not only about Gambia, because some of my customers are white people, like I have some customers from USA, they have never been to Gambia, but just yesterday a lady wrote to me, it's like, thank you so much for building this brand. I'm you connected me to my ancestors. I was really happy, having that message. So my goal is to that every African or anybody who respect the history of Africa, I love Africa, not only our culture, but love us as Africans, is the right person to wear the brand Jufrey. And that's why I want, the brand to be out there, that everybody wear it, But I'm happy you're saying that you saw someone wearing it, that really.
I did. I will send you the screenshot to show you, so that we can pursue that aspect of your branding.
I would love that. That would be beautiful to see.
Yeah. And another thing, I understand that you're a very creative person. I'm looking at the painting behind you. And I remember in our conversation, I asked you where the painting is from, because it's very African. And you told me you painted this yourself.
Yes.
How incredible is that?
Thank you.
Yeah. And so I'm looking at your painting, and I am imagining this being part of your clothing brand as well. Like imaging like this that represents Africa and Gambian art, for that matter, to be printed on your clothing. Is that something that you're looking at, something that you might want to do in the future?
I wasn't really thinking about it, but now you say it, let's make it happen. That was a smart one.
Yeah.
That would be dope. I can imagine this one, on the t-shirt or hoodie would be look. What you're doing there, I love that.
Exactly.
I would definitely think about
it. It will be a full cycle of all of your creativity come together.
I would love that. That was a good one. I hope you're not gonna take percentage of that one when I start.
I might claim royalty there.
Don't worry, man. We can cut some checks for you. You're good.
Thank you so much.
That was a good idea, though. I would definitely look into it. It was a smart one.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I would love to see that happen. So, what is your plan for the clothing business? You're just starting. How are you looking at expanding the business?
Right now, I'm just working more on the branding side, having a brand identity, having a brand credibility, But my goal is to, get into different kind of products, like jackets, shoes, different kind of products. But right now, I'm just focused in the branding side. But my goal is to be able to have it as a global brand that, you can see it anywhere in the world. And in the future, we might have a shop in the Gambia that will be only Jufrey, from shoes to watch to everything will be Jufrey, But that's part of my goals too, inshallah, in the future. But I want it to be a global brand, just to keep it short. Inshallah, that's the goal.
Very good.
And we can make it happen in Gambia. Let's go for it. Africa, let's make Jufrey a global brand, right?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that, Musa. And
But by the way, I wanted to ask you, because what do you think about Jufrey? Which one is your favorite one?
The Fulani hat one has to be.
Really?
It has to be.
Okay, now you're gonna get a Fulani hat straight up.
Yeah, I would want the Fulani hat one. I love it.
I'm glad you love that.
Yeah, I do.
So I have another one called the Catapult too. So I don't know if you see that one.
I haven't seen the Catapult.
You're gonna love it, man.
It
will bring a lot of memories. I love the Catapult one too.
You're bringing a lot of childhood memories here today.
Yeah, I will show you one that I just did a collection yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, I will show it here straight up. You will be the first person to see it.
Go ahead.
Let me just go to my pictures and see if I can bring it happen here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if you can. Can you see this?
Yeah, is this a lamp?
Yeah.
The
Do you remember
kerosene
the
lamp?
person like? Exactly.
You are definitely a village boy.
Of course, I am a village boy, but
Yes,
the goal is to bring memories, so
I
people.
know, and it is
Exactly.
bringing memories. Yeah, this
So
this is really brilliant.
I'll have a
Musa.
lot of memories with this one, man.
Yeah,
Shit, I
yeah,
remember my mom used to send me, to go and buy kerosene. So,
kerosene. Yeah,
then you lost the money or you come back, you instead of buying a full
hmm,
and a half pot, you just buy a half pot, and come.
yeah,
Beautiful memories, man.
yeah. And this is what I was driving at when I try to explain what values people will get from wearing your clothes. Uh, for a person like me, this really reminds me of my childhood. So if I wear something like this, I am trying to get a connection to my childhood, a connection to my root, where I am from. And that is a good feeling. And I think dressing up should be about getting a good feeling, a good vibe.
I think for me it's communication, right? They said,
Yeah.
40% of our communication is non-verbal communication, right? So
Hmm.
I do believe that what you wear is how you communicate to people too.
Hmm.
Because if you wear Gucci, you're communicating to people that you are rich, right?
Who you are. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you wear something Jufrey with a catapult, you're communicating to people that oh, I used to have catapult during my childhood days, or you can bring memories to other people. It just eh, I remember a friend of mine was like, bro, when I see the catapult, I could not stop smiling because I remember how many birds I killed with my catapult, when I was a child.
Yeah.
So only that is just beautiful to hear. So
Yeah.
the goal is to start coming with different kind of objects or ideas that I can put into the hoodie and that people might have a good
Hmm.
connection to it. So, and
Hmm.
I do believe that every clothes that you wear, you are communicating to people. So, and I definitely want to communicate to people with fashion lifestyle, especially with our history too.
Yeah.
We have a
It
rich history
is
that's
very
really.
nice. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, no, but I wanted to say we have a very rich and a beautiful history. So we cannot just let it die and
And
have this.
and
We have
cultures too. Yeah.
we have to bring
Yeah.
it out.
And lifestyle. I agree with you on that. And I wanted
Thank
to
you
say it's brilliant talking to you today and
so much.
just reliving into our culture, our history, but also the possibility of your brand and where it can go
Inshallah.
and what it represents. I am very excited talking to you about those stuff. And at this point, I would like to draw the curtains because we've covered a lot, and
Yes,
there is still so much to talk about, but you can never finish.
that's right.
Hopefully, there will be another opportunity to talk to you, especially if the clothing line or other businesses have advanced to a level that you are envisioning. I would love to come back here and reassess how far you have come.
I am here anytime, Nima. But I'm really happy, thanks for inviting me. It was a beautiful moment,
Mhm.
and I really appreciate, your time and your support because I think we need to have people like you, that would give opportunity to other youths to come and, talk about their journey, and talk
Yeah.
about their business. So you're
Mhm.
doing a wonderful job. I just have to thank you for that, and
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing to do for us. Thank you.
Yeah, this is very important for me. I have few people who live abroad, and usually in the Gambia, the idea we have about people living abroad is they have money bags. We don't really pay attention to their struggles, what they're going through, and how they stretch themselves to make sure that we have a good living back home. And so it was my desire to bring focus on you people so that people can understand that you are real human beings and you have ups and downs and yeah, and nothing is offered to you on a silver platter. So I am happy to have conversations.
That's a
Uh,
beautiful thing to do. I like but
mm,
one thing I do believe that Nyima is Sometimes I do blame we, like the ones living abroad, right? Because we paint certain pictures, the wrong picture
You
to
project
our
an image, yeah.
Exactly. I think we are painting the wrong picture to them. I think we need to start, getting honest to our fellow youths. Let's be open to them. Let's tell them the reality. You don't need to stand next to a beautiful car and take a picture and just send it to your friends. Tell them more about if they come here, what they can do, what are the opportunities here, or what are the opportunities back home. Let's try to encourage each other than to start sowing certain things that we have or we might not have. That would lead them to be frustrating, or is even starting to believe that once you come to Europe, you will see a big house of a big tree of money,
Yeah.
and that's not reality. So I think it's a high time we start painting
Being
the
honest,
right, yeah, be honest and paint the right picture for them. I work here as a plumber. I'm not a multi-millionaire. I receive salary as any other person. So, and that's the reality. I do pay rent and cover my food and send little to my family. That's all. So we need to be honest to them, instead of telling them certain things that's not real.
Yeah, that's right. That's what this show is about: being honest about our struggles and everything.
We need
right?
to.
Yeah.
That's the good
So
word.
before we go, Musa, I would like you to share your business platforms for anybody who want to reach out to you or to see your products and would be interested in buying or anything like that.
Yes. I mean, if you want to reach to me, just visit Musa Njie at Facebook, Musa Njie VVS. If you want to visit our transport business and cement sale business, VVS Transport at Facebook, V Cement at Facebook. If you want to know about my clothing line, visit us at Instagram, Jufrey 2021, Jufure 2021. It's the same on Facebook too. Yeah. And if you write to me any of those platforms, you will get me, and I'm ready to communicate or talk to you anytime, at any moment.
Yeah, I will endeavor to list the names of those platforms on here for people to remember. Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's really kind.
All right. So there we have it. Thank you so much, Musa, for joining me today on Migrant Stories, Tales from the Gambia Diaspora.
Thanks for having me, Nima.
Yeah.